Last night, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez did one of her big Instagram lives, and this was a major one that is driving a lot of political conversation both last night and throughout today, where she revealed quite a bit. Her own personal history as a survivor of sexual assault, the experience of the attack on the Capitol on January 6th. And we wanna play some highlights from this. Understand that is the topic matter. It is both graphic and potentially triggering, so understand that as we move into these videos. But first, here's the representative.
So many of the people who helped perpetrate and who take responsibility for what happened in the Capitol are trying to tell us all to move on. And they're trying to tell us to forget about what happened. They're trying to tell us that it wasn't a big deal. They're trying to tell us to move on without any accountability, without any truth telling, or without actually confronting the extreme damage, physical harm, loss of life, and trauma that was inflicted on not just me as a person, not just other people as individuals, but on all of us as a collective and on many other people. And that we cannot move on without accountability. We cannot heal without accountability. And so all of these people who want to tell us to move on are doing so at their own convenience.
Yeah, at the very least. And so we have a lot of videos we're gonna play, and I have a lot of thoughts, but Viviana, I wanted to give you the chance to start us off.
Yeah, it was a long video, as is in AOC's true nature. I love her lives. She's so real. She's such a good example of the kind of leadership we need in this country to connect with the people. I cried, John. I cried. AOC means a lot to me. I know she means a lot to people. She represents a hope that we have in this country for democracy, for the working class, for people everywhere. Really the backbone of this country. That is what people like Bernie are fighting for. And of course, people like AOC. And let me remind everybody, this is a 31-year-old woman. She turned 31 in November, I believe, or October, just a few months ago. And this is a young woman who is putting everything on the line to fight for the people of this country. Her tale was so traumatizing to listen to, and I'm so glad that she shared it. It's upsetting to see a lot of the people talking about how dramatic she is and this and that, and trying to downplay exactly what she's talking about, gaslighting her in her own experience. And this is what colonization does to people who have been traumatized. This is what, as a Latina, as a person of color, we are used to this. We continue to be traumatized when every single insurgent that is not held accountable for their actions, we get traumatized again because people are able to hurt us without accountability. So her coming from the heart and speaking to everybody, I mean, and even sharing. And if you didn't watch the whole thing, you might have missed that sexual assault survivor bit because she kind of slipped it in there at the end when she's talking about compounding traumas. And what she went through that day is just, I can't even imagine. I would be absolutely devastated if she had been assassinated. We have seen so many of our leaders, civil rights leaders, and I'm not likening her to the level of Malcolm X or the level of MLK or the level of Robert Kennedy, but it would have been heavy like that for me. She still has some work to do to get, into some of those places, but I see her trajectory following along some of these great leaders, and to see her life cut so short, and to see her, that's what made me choke up. I choke up now. To see her ready to do it, John. To see her ready to give her life. And just say, I've done what I can, and the rest of you guys carry the torch. This is what Bernie's slogan of Yes, We Can means. We work together. It isn't about her. It isn't about her political career, although she will have one. And it's not about her political career, and she's entitled to have a political career. But this is about all of us working together, and to see somebody who is putting everything on the line, to feel what they were going through. And she's an amazing storyteller. It just was very moving. I'm sorry, I got a little verklempt.
It was, no, it's certainly understandable. Yeah, and look, some of the things you referenced, we are gonna be playing excerpts from that. And so I certainly have thoughts both to what she said and some of the response to it from the literal scummiest scum of the entire earth. But what she said there about the people who want us to move on, unfortunately, we have language filters on the program, so I can't say exactly what I actually think about that. But I think that you can probably fill in the blanks.
Mother scratchers.
If I spend months to hire a hitman to kill someone, and then the person goes and fails, and then I say, you guys are getting so hung up on the hitman, seriously, just move on. No. What normally happens in this situation is the Dems would be the one that would be targeted by this and then tell us to move on, and we'd be frustrated by that. But at least they were the victims. The people who were calling for this, spending all the time on their shows, Tucker Carlson's trying to pretend that it was nothing. Suddenly, a cop being bludgeoned to death doesn't matter. No, you wanted this to happen. And by the way, if those people had gone in and had killed AOC and had killed Ilhan Omar and had gunned down tons of people, and the Republicans had just taken permanent control of US government, Tucker Carlson would be perfectly happy with that. Every single person saying, it wasn't that bad, it wasn't insurrection, it's not white supremacists, why are you getting so worked up, it's not terror. Every one of those was sitting on that day. And I remember all of us were watching this. You know what your experience was like. And they were hopeful. They were hopeful that this would accomplish the goals that they had. And it didn't. They failed. They were losers. And they don't get to tell us to just move on. There should be no consequences. That we should mock the people who narrowly escaped with their lives. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.